You're watching MH Nation. Get the latest NBA news, transfer rumors, and match updates fast. Like, share, and subscribe to stay ahead of the game.
The feeling here in Los Angeles is that the offseason is far from over. While many believe the roster is practically set, reports circulating behind the scenes show that Rob Pelinka is still working non-stop. And honestly, this could completely change the course of the season. The Lakers still have a huge decision to make regarding the starting lineup. A key target has regained momentum on the market. A new trade possibility has emerged. And there's a detail almost no one is talking about. Yet it could totally transform the team being built to play alongside Luka Doncic. And believe me, none of this seems like a coincidence. The more information surfaces, the clearer it becomes that all these moves are part of a much larger plan. The front office seems to be carefully putting every piece in place, waiting for the right moment to make the next move. And if this plan actually comes to fruition, the Lakers' look on opening night could be very different from what many fans are imagining right now. So stick with me until the end of this video. We're going to connect the dots, analyze what's happening behind the scenes in LA, and understand why there's such a buzz among those who follow the franchise closely. Because if there's one thing every Lakers fan has learned, it's that when Rob Pelinka works in silence, something big is usually about to happen. So, let's talk Lakers. Before we start, I need to ask you something. If you're part of Laker Nation and follow our channel daily, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, because the next few hours could be decisive for the Lakers' future. There is practically a consensus today regarding a large part of the Lakers lineup. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Walker Kessler. These three names are virtually guaranteed spots in the starting five. With the arrival of Quentin Grimes, many believe he'll be the fourth member of the starting lineup. But there is still one position completely up for grabs, the power forward spot. And that might be the most important decision Rob Pelinka has to make before the season begins. The Lakers have players who could step into that role. But there is one detail preventing a final decision. The offseason isn't over yet. Quite the opposite. The front office already has 16 players under contract, exceeding the limit allowed for the start of the season. This means further moves are inevitable. Someone will have to leave, and perhaps another key addition could arrive. That is precisely why the wing position remains unsettled. Pelinka seems to be waiting for the perfect opportunity to find a definitive starter. And a few names keep coming up strongly. Dalton Knecht and Jared Vanderbilt remain frequent subjects of trade discussions. So far, however, Pelinka hasn't found a partner willing to close a deal. In the meantime, two names remain linked to the Lakers: Jonathan Kuminga and PJ Washington. Kuminga continues to be mentioned in potential sign-and-trade scenarios. As for PJ Washington, a former teammate of Luka Doncic from their Dallas days, he also appears to be available on the market. If the Lakers decide to look outside the current roster for a solution, either of these two players could fill that exact need. But there is another name that has started to gain traction, and it might even make more sense for the franchise's current situation. That is exactly who we are going to talk about now. Since LeBron James's departure, the Lakers have officially entered a new phase. The team's entire rebuild now revolves around Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. That is why the front office has been extremely aggressive this offseason. Walker Kessler has arrived, Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, Sandro Mamukelashvili, Zaire Williams, Matisse Thybulle, Kevon Looney, plus the drafting of Cameron Carr. Even so, Pelinka still doesn't seem satisfied. The pursuit of Jonathan Kuminga continues. However, negotiations have become increasingly complicated, and that is precisely why another name has appeared on the radar: Cam Johnson. According to journalist Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, several teams have reached out to the Denver Nuggets to try to trade for the forward. However, they all received the same response. The Nuggets turned down the inquiries. Although Scotto does not explicitly mention the Lakers, it is hard to imagine that Los Angeles isn't keeping an eye on the situation. And there is a reason for that. Johnson fits the profile the team is looking for perfectly. He is a forward capable of defending multiple positions. He spaces the floor and shoots with great efficiency. Last season, he averaged 12.2 points per game. That might seem like a drop-off compared to the 18.8 points he previously averaged with the Brooklyn Nets, but the numbers show significant improvement. Johnson finished the year shooting 48% from the field, and an incredible 43% from three-point range, the best marks of his entire career. Furthermore, he is entering the final year of his contract, earning $23.06 million. This means he would arrive highly motivated to secure a major new deal in the future. Another important detail: if the experiment doesn't work out, his expiring contract would still hold immense market value. In other words, the financial risk would be much lower. One possibility being discussed involves including Jard Vanderbilt and Jake LaRavia in a trade. Beyond facilitating Johnson's arrival, this would also open up roster space to finalize the signing of Matisse Thybulle before the season begins. Of course, everything depends on the Nuggets' willingness to negotiate. That may well be the biggest hurdle. But if this opportunity actually arises, it could be exactly the kind of under-the-radar move that completely changes the Lakers' competitive level. However, Pelinka appears to be working on another area of the team simultaneously. And this news caught many people by surprise. When the Lakers announced the acquisition of Walker Kessler, many believed the issue in the paint had been resolved. Shortly after came a massive contract extension. 4 years, $130 million. A clear show of confidence. Kessler is considered one of the NBA's best rim protectors and has the potential to contend for the Defensive Player of the Year award. Even so, according to Dan Wyke of Times The Athletic, the Lakers are still looking for more big men. 3 names have emerged as targets: Jericho Sims, Jalen Smith, and Carlo Matkovic. Jericho Sims' situation is particularly interesting. He never managed to establish himself in New York. Currently, he is the Bucks' third-string center, behind Miles Turner and Kel'el Ware. But there is something that appeals to the Lakers: his physical profile. Sims is extremely athletic. He runs the floor very well. He possesses explosive athleticism. He finishes above the rim. These are traits that perfectly complement Luka Doncic's pick-and-roll style. According to Wyke, scouts still have reservations about his perimeter defense and his consistency. Even so, they believe he could develop significantly playing alongside a playmaker like Doncic. Another possibility is Jalen Smith. There are people within the organization who really like his style. Smith plays with intensity. He can shoot from long range, and he offers the kind of spacing that Walker Kessler typically doesn't provide. The issue is his contract. He still has 2 years and $18 million remaining on his deal. Plus, there are questions regarding his availability. The Bulls' previous front office always showed great confidence in him. Finally, there's Carlo Matkovic, another name being monitored to add depth to the roster. All of this points to a very clear strategy from the front office. The Lakers want to surround Luka Doncic with athletic big men who can run to the rim, finish lobs, and further streamline the offense. And that sends a very clear message. Pelinka isn't done yet. Far from it. It feels like the most important part of the offseason might still be ahead of us, because it only takes one trade to completely change the starting lineup, alter the rotation, free up roster spots, and turn the Lakers into an even stronger NBA title contender. Now, I want to hear your opinion. Would you try to acquire Jonathan Kuminga, take a chance on Cam Johnson, or do you believe the solution is already on the current roster? Leave your answer in the comments below. I'll be reading them all. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Lakers news, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Every day, we bring you exclusive info, rumors, analysis, and everything happening in Los Angeles.